You're listening to NewsHour from the BBC. I'm Paul Henley. In Ethiopia's war-torn region of Tigray, last month's peace agreement between the government and Tigrayan forces has begun to bear fruit. Earlier today, the first passenger plane in more than 18 months flew into the regional capital Mekelle from the capital, Addis Ababa.
I lived here separated from my husband and child, who I love. I came here for my daughter's examination and suddenly got stuck here. When I heard the news about the flights, I fell to the ground and I cried. I am extremely happy and I hope it will continue like this. I pray the peace will be sustained. When there is peace, there is everything.
This is a joyful moment because we're going to meet our relatives after a long time. I am very excited. I pray to God that the remaining things like communication and so on will be addressed soon.
I came here to see my daughter who was giving birth. My plan was to just stay 2 weeks, and then everything was shut down suddenly. It has been more than a year and a half. I'm very happy that peace is returning, and excited that I am finally going home. May God keep the peace, and things return to how they were.
Some voices from Mekelle, and some electricity lines destroyed in the civil war are being restored as telephone communication is slowly resumed. We were able to reach Dr. Fasika Amdeslasie, a surgeon in Tigrai. As you'd expect, the line is a little bit shaky, but he was able to tell me more about the feelings in the region right now.
It's a very emotional moment for us in Tigray because we have been disconnected from the world. So now it's very exciting and emotional, and we have seen people arriving, the pictures. We are also talking over phones with friends and family. So it's a very historical moment. After 19 months, a very historical and emotional moment for us.
What's it been like to have been cut off, both in terms of travel restrictions and communications for so long?
So it's like living in another world because we are accustomed to this life, to the life with connected to the world for so long. Suddenly, it was so quiet. So it feels that you are secluded. At the same time, because of the being closed off, items, medicines, food, the many things are not coming in. That also makes you very worried.
I can tell you're excited. Do you think that this peace will last?
I have hope, a strong hope, because we have been through a lot. A lot of people have died. So I think this is enough. But there is some fear that it may not. And going back to where we have been, going back to all that very sad thing, it makes me fear that I am hoping, praying that this peace will hold. I am hoping and praying that our leaders will be very responsible not to lead us again to war. So I'm hopeful but cautious.
Dr. Fasika Amdeslasie, who is a surgeon in Tigrai. For more on the wider picture of what this resumption of commercial flights to Tigrai means, we turn to Kjetil Tronvoll, Professor of Peace and Conflict Studies at Oslo New University College in Norway. Welcome, Professor. How significant do you think it is that commercial flights have resumed?
Well, I think certainly it is a significant step forward in the so far incremental implementation of the Pretoria Peace Agreement. It is symbolic in the sense that the region is connected to the rest of Ethiopia and the world, as we heard Dr. Fasika talk about. But it is also a real manifestation of the will of the political leaders, both in Tigray and at the federal level in Ethiopia, to meet face to face and to reconnect politically as well. So it is a significant step forward.
What aspects of the peace agreement remain to be fulfilled?
Oh, there are many, many aspects of the agreement. It is, as I said, it's a very incremental, slow-pace implementation of it. The most significant hurdles ahead is, of course, the continued presence of Eritrean armed forces in Tigray, as well as the Amhara regional forces occupying West Tigray. And those two issues need to be solved immediately as the disarmament of the Tigrayan army, the Tigrayan Defense Forces, is hinging upon a security for the people of Tigray, and as long as the Eritrean armed forces is on Tigrayan soil, that security cannot be guaranteed.
It's fair to say, isn't it, that the international community didn't greatly focus on this conflict?
Oh, that's certainly so. And I think one of the key reasons for that, beyond that it is an African conflict and the Western media is kind of getting tired of African conflict, is the fact that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed closed off the region more or less immediately after the outbreak of the war 2 years ago. He cut off any kind of mobility in and out. He cut off the telecommunication, he cut off electricity, cut off internet. So we didn't hear anything from the ground, and BBC and other world media organizations didn't get the video footage needed, didn't get on the ground reporting. So hence it was kind of forgotten, although it was the biggest war of the last 2 years and the most bloody, devastating war for the last 2 years, including the Ukrainian war.
How many people died?
We don't know for certain, and I'm not sure we're ever going to know, but estimates are that around 600,000 Tigrayans, civilians, perished as a consequence of the war, and added to that is something possibly between 300 to 500,000 combatants. So we're getting close to 1 million people have perished in this war.
Do you know what the humanitarian situation is there now, and will there be access to humanitarian aid finally?
Well, that's one of the key components in the peace agreement, is the unfettered, unimpeded inflow of humanitarian aid. So far, we don't see that. Yes, it has increased radically, but more in the areas controlled by the Ethiopian armed forces, not in the core areas of Tigray. So it is a desperate need of humanitarian aid, and it is also a desperate need of basic medical supplies, like the hospital of Dr. Fasika Hospital don't have the basic needed medicines or equipment to undertake procedures. So it is still a long way to go before the population's need are met.
But good news today that some normality is inching back.
Absolutely. It is the first of many steps to be taken to reconnect the region and the people to Ethiopia and the rest of the world.
Many thanks, Professor Kjetil Tronvoll from the Peace and Conflict Studies Centre at Oslo New University.